Hey everyone and welcome. Today we'll be running you through a low elo review, this time from gold elo, where we'll take you through a look at some incredibly poor yet common mistakes that assassins make when mirrored against each other. So this guide is designed to focus on common mistakes that assassins make in mirrors, and the replay that we'll be analyzing today will blow your mind at how many missed opportunities there are in explosive matchups like this, where both players are simply playing without a game plan. So this time around we're going to be looking at Echo versus Katarina. What we're about to learn is essential for any assassin to learn, and even if you don't play assassins, you'll learn some great tips for dealing with these champions in lane, so let's go ahead and get to matchup analysis. Echo and Katarina have around even range, with their range spells taken into account while being melee champions. Echo has the wave clear advantage at all stages of the lane, and both champions deal around even burst in short trades, while Katarina does more damage in extended all-in trades with her lower cooldowns. With this information in mind, Echo will want to follow the following missions between levels 1 and 3. Mission 1. Use his superior wave clear to secure the level advantage. Mission 2. Play safe when his Q is down. And for Mission 3, trade with Katarina upon hitting his level lead. As always, we'll break down why these are the key missions as we get into the gameplay. Let's jump right in. As the lane starts, Sneaky Pepper on Kayn is starting on Raptors. He actually asked this Echo for a leash, but for future reference, Kayn is the only jungler that can really start Raptors, and it definitely is not good to leash for them as they don't need it. By leashing, Echo will have delayed his wave clear potential a ton, and if this was higher elo, then the mid laner would inform their jungler that Kayn started Raptors due to Echo's missing mana, which could easily lead to Kayn getting counter jungled. So Echo goes into lane without his Q, which means that for the moment, he doesn't have a wave clear advantage for mission 1. However, Katarina is surrendering lane priority immediately and does not contest Echo's push. What Kat should be doing is either contesting wave clear as much as possible, or at least looking for some harass. But she's waiting for the wave to come to her, gifting Echo a start on mission 1 despite Echo's Q currently being down. Moving on, as Echo correctly actively pushes the wave with auto attacks, we're about to see him use his first Q in lane. While watching, try to identify what is wrong with the upcoming Q. So there's a couple of points to be made here. Firstly, this is an autopilot Q with seemingly no thought behind it. If his goal is to hard push the wave, then he should have looked to hit the entire wave with the Q. And to that end, if he was looking to secure his level lead for mission 1, which he should be, then he wouldn't need to use the Q for it, since Katarina is playing far back and not contesting the wave at all. So just take a moment to think about it. Securing a level lead is one thing, but to actually abuse your level lead is another. You can get a tremendous amount of value from securing your level lead in Assassin Mirrors, but only really if you can act on it and trade when you level up. Therefore, you ideally just want to be a minion or two ahead so that the wave isn't fully pushing to their tower, where they would just farm safely until they equalize the level advantage. You want the wave to be far enough from their tower so that you can trade the exact moment that you level up. So if this was Talon, he would be holding onto his W, and if it was Fizz, he would hold onto his E, and so on, if they're ahead on experience with their opponent not contesting, as is happening here for Echo. Of course, some assassins have better wave clear than others, and if you're on the receiving end to being pushed, like Katarina is, then you can just play safe and thin out the wave from distance. But there are ways to get the level advantage with less wave clear in Assassin Mirrors, which is covered in this guide here, explaining how to punish your opponent when their wave clear ability has been spent on the wave. Anyway, let's speed it up as Echo picks up the last hits until the second wave has arrived. At this point, the second wave is here, and with the second wave comes level 2. Think to yourself, what minion on the second wave will allow Echo to hit level 2? So as he's completely killed the first wave, the first melee on the second wave will level up Echo. He also has around a 2.5 minion advantage with their collective health considered, and they will clash in this spot here, which is pretty much perfect. is far enough from Katarina's tower to look for a potential trade when he levels up for mission 3. While Echo is CSing, it's clear that he isn't really considering level 2 since he's pretty relaxed about killing this melee minion. As he's about to kill it, Katarina is making an insanely poor decision to go up and grab a last hit of her own right in Echo's face as Echo's about to get the level lead. The melee dies, let's see what happens next. Yeah, so that was incredibly poor play from both sides, where Echo missed a giant opportunity that Katarina served up to him as if she was begging to lose the lane right there. If this was one of our Smurf videos, you would see Katarina at around 50% health right now, thinking to yourself that this just looks too easy. Well, that's because high level players will capitalize on level leads and poor positioning, like Echo should here, making things look super one-sided. Playing it back, Katarina should be standing far away, waiting for level 2 in this position, and Echo should have been ready and waiting to go for a huge trade while he was a level up. As Echo hit 2, he should complete mission 3 if he would EQ'd the Katarina, procced his passive, and that would have taken out around 50% of Katarina's health, or maybe even more. The reason why you want to look for level lead trades in particular on assassins is that your burst damage at low levels is super high, especially versus other super squishy assassins. It's very bursty and snowbally in lane, and getting levels 2, 3 and 6 first are particularly important to capitalize on these spikes because you will get a new ability at those levels each time. Anyway, with this giant opportunity missed, Echo continues to push the wave, which under the circumstance is the correct move, so that wave 3 bounces back towards him and he could look for another trade opportunity with a level 3 advantage. Alright, playing it back, we can see another giant opportunity missed by Echo, who could have absolutely destroyed this Katarina here with just a little bit better decision making. Katarina goes for a QE trade onto the Echo, but look at this giant wave that Echo had to work with. It's not uncommon for players from bronze to platinum to go in and trade with big waves like this, which can gift you massive leads if you use it, as we saw McBaze do in his most recent video versus LeBlanc. Echo was looking to trade back, but it seems like his lack of matchup knowledge gets the better of him, and he uses his E before Katarina hops out, so he can't follow her. And just think about it, where does Katarina have to run to? Echo could have just ran her down with Q and autos with his huge minion wave until Katarina hops away, and then he could have chased her with his E and destroy her. But instead, Echo uses E before Katarina uses her second one, and she hops away relatively unscathed, an awful play from Katarina that went unpunished. Katarina used her Q dagger, which landed behind Echo, which Katarina hopped to with E, and that significantly reduces her E cooldown, which means that she will have her E back real soon to hop away with. If you don't completely understand how champions work, especially mobile dash champions like Katarina and Aurelia, then it's worth giving them a go in practice tool to learn their mechanics so that there are no surprises like this in ranked. Anyway, Echo has now missed 2 huge opportunities to win lane, and things are starting to look bad for him. At this point, he's strafing around in lane, not really doing anything, while he should be warding topside. It's pretty unfortunate for him to be in this position, since Katarina actually has a soft freeze on him now in this area here, so the wave is in a really awkward spot for him to push up and deal with it. This is a result of Echo not shoving the wave all of the way to the tower on wave 2 for a clean bounce, which we often teach for wave 3. But the way that it happened was that weird trade that Katarina went for. It happened to hold the wave, which caused it to get to the tower late. You can call it bad luck, but Katarina should be far too low health at this point to even contest the wave had Echo played correctly. So Echo should just wait for this wave to come back towards him and hit his level 3 on that wave and maybe look for a trade. You may be thinking that he should just push up and shove this third wave in all of the way as well, but it would be risky to do because of possible jungle threat from Udyr, and on top of that, he doesn't have any real lead on Katarina, so she could just chunk him out when he uses Q on the wave if she's smart about it. Moving on, we see Echo let the wave come towards him, which is good, but he pushes up to CS this melee minion here, which he can actually get with an auto attack since Katarina isn't contesting. However, Echo makes an awful uncalculated decision to actually use Q to just get this one melee minion. He should be holding his Q for trading and letting this wave push towards him because he's actually behind on minion damage now. The tower has helped Katarina kill the melees, which is a pace that Echo cannot match. The third melee on the third wave gets level 3, and as we can see, Katarina only has one blue melee to secure, while Echo has nearly 2 4 HP ones alongside the melee that he's going for right now. Katarina hits level 3 first and Echo's Q is down, so he should be very far away from Katarina here, without his Q and a level down. But it doesn't seem like Echo is paying attention to experience or levels, and is just on autopilot, going in for this third melee of his own. Let's see what happens. So that was pretty sad. But finally, a great example of how much you can gain from abusing a level lead in Assassin Mirrors. It's just unfortunate that Echo was the one on the wrong side of this one. Throwing it back, we'll briefly break down what happened here besides Echo being too close to Katarina when she had a level lead, and Echo didn't even have his Q because he just used it on the wave. This is comically similar to Echo's level 2 lead, except Echo did absolutely nothing with it and just walked away. So as Katarina eased onto Echo, she uses a W which throws her dagger in the air and will activate AoE damage when it lands right on top of her. So Echo should have E'd away here instead of tank the W damage. Picking up a dagger also reduces the cooldown of Katarina's E, which just happened by picking up her W dagger. So she then uses Q on Echo and E's onto her Q dagger, and then goes for a final E onto Echo after the flash, securing the kill. Had Echo avoided the W damage and traded back, he could have counter pressured and didn't really have to die here. But this was the least of his laning worries. If there's one thing to take away from this video, it's that level leads are the easiest and probably most impactful way of winning Assassin Mirrors. Next time you're in a mirror, go ahead and try this. Try to have the wave in a good spot and hit level 2 first on the first melee on the second wave, and then get level 3 on the third melee on the third wave. With the leads that you should gain from executing this call to action, you should be able to carry your experience lead all the way to level 6 and use the same concept then as well. Let's get you today's takeaways. Echo came into lane with his Q down as he had wasted it on a leash. But it didn't matter since Katarina default forfeited lane priority, so Echo got the push lead. This allowed Echo to hit level 2 first, with the wave in a perfect spot, and Katarina went for a last hit that she had no business going for, with a level behind. However, Echo did absolutely nothing with this and missed a key opportunity. Echo was given another chance when Katarina took this potentially awful trade, but since Echo wasted his dash, he couldn't do much with this, and by chance, it also messed up the wave as the third one came in. By level 3, Katarina was the one with the wave clear lead and hit level 3 first. Echo was in range with his Q down and died immediately to Kat's level 3 advantage, which showed Echo what he should have done at level 2. So that's it for this low elo guide. We listened to your feedback on our low Orianna guide and delivered on your calls for a lower elo review than Platinum. So what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. We'll mix in some more high elo stuff next time, and your feedback has helped us a ton so far. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.